Hi guys, in this video ay tutuloy natin yung series natin on calculus, no? And so far we have learned 4 formulas, no? And ang ginagawa natin dito sa part ng series na to ay nagsosolve tayo ng mga problems, yung medyo challenging problems na hindi kaagad natin makikita yung sagot, no? So kailangan natin ng algebraic manipulation para masagot natin. For example, itong problem na to, hindi natin ito masasagot kaagad with these formulas, no? Kasi unang-una, ang meron lang tayo ay sum and difference rule. Wala tayong multiplication, no? Pangalawa, yung ating wala tayong radical sign. Ito may radical sign. So, we have to be able to answer this question, dapat i-manipulate muna natin siya algebraically para mag-fit siya dito sa ating mga formulas. So, how do we do that? Kung gusto nyo i-try, i-pause nyo itong video after 5 seconds para i-solve nyo muna bago nyo tignan yung solution. So, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, pause. Okay? So, sana na-pause nyo yung video, no, and na-solve ninyo. So, ang paraan dito is, number 1, tanggalin natin yung radical sign. No? So, paano natin yan tatanggalin? We know from your algebra that square root of x is equal to x to the 1/2. So, wala tayong radical sign. So, we solve that by getting rid of the radical sign. X cubed plus 8x. Pangalawa. So, multiplication. Paano natin tatanggalin yung multiplication? By distributive property, we can multiply. So, magiging x to the 1/2 times x cubed plus x to the 1/2 times x squared. Sorry, times 8x. Okay. What is x to the 1/2 times x cubed? Anong ginagawa natin pag same base? Loss of exponent. Pina-plus natin ito, di ba? So, ano ang 1/2 plus 3? 1/2 plus 3, the same as 1/2 plus, ano ba yung 3? 6 halves, di ba? So, this becomes x to the 7 halves. Hindi ko na kayo tuturuan mag-add niyan. Ano? Dapat alam niyo na yan. Nasa calculus na tayo, dapat alam niyo na yung fraction. No? Plus, meron tayong 8, no? Anong x to the 1/2 times x? Ano ang power ng x dito? Di ba 1? 1/2 plus 1 is 1/2 plus 2 halves, which is equal to 3 halves. So, 8x to the 3 halves. Okay? This is our g of x. Pwede nang kunin yung derivative kasi x to the n na siya, di ba? Using the sum and difference. Sum and difference na siya, di ba? Sum na siya. Hindi na tayo nag-multiply ng dalawang expressions. And then, pwede natin siya gamitin ng power rule, di ba? So, g prime of x is equal to the derivative of x to the 7 halves plus the derivative of 8x to the 3 halves. Na napansin nyo, this is the Lagrange notation, no? Gawin natin kay Leibniz para pareho. So, dg o ddx of g of x. Pero there are books who mix the two notations, no? So, I think that was also okay. But I would prefer it to be uniform. No? So, magiging what is the derivative of x to the 7 halves? Kung hindi niya intindihan yung notation, check niyo yung notation natin and explain ko na yung use niyan. So, I have no time to explain it here. So, ano ang derivative ng x to the 7 halves? Magiging, ibababa natin to with the power rule, no? Recall the power rule, pag x to the n, bababa natin yung n, and then we subtract 1 from n doon sa exponent, no? So, 7 halves, bababa. Yung n natin ay 7 halves, di ba? X to the 7 halves minus 1 plus, kanun din dito, meron akong constant. I have 8. Kunin ko yung derivative ng x to the 3 halves. This is by the constant multiple rule, no? Naalala nyo? So, magiging 7 halves x. What is 7 halves minus 1? 7 halves minus 1 is the same as 7 halves minus 2 halves. 5 halves. And then plus 8 x to the, what is 3 halves? What is the derivative of x to the 3 halves? X times 3 halves. Sorry. 8 times, tama, 3 halves. Binaba ko yung 3 halves. And then, I put x, and then subtract 1 from 3 halves, magiging 1 half na siya. Okay? And simplifying, we have, meron pa tayo dito, pero mukhang hindi na tayo matatapos. We have, what is 8 times 3 divided by 2? 8 times 3 halves is the same as 8 over 1 times 3 halves. That's 24 over 2. This is 12. So this is equal to 7 halves times x to the 5 halves plus 12 x to the 1 half. Okay, so tama ba yung ating review lang natin? 3 halves tapos naging 1 half tapos ito. So, ang isang, this is already correct, no? This is dg over dx o siyempre g prime of x pwede natin lagay. This is already correct, but minsan meron tayong habit na pag may radical dito, radical din yung sagot natin. So, tanggalin natin yung exponent, no? Yung rational exponent. So, we can write this as 7 over 2, no? Times square root of x to the 5th, no? So, yan ang x to the 5 halves plus 12 over square root of x. This is our dg over x. Okay, so this is conversion of rational exponent to radicals. No? So, hindi ko na yun ma-explain. Basta pag 2, yung nasa denominator, ibig sabihin yan square root. No? Tapos yung denominator niya yung power no? Nasa loob. Ang radicand ng ating expression. So, kung napapansin nyo, ang ating problema, I think, no? Pag kayo ay magka-calculus, no? Ay dapat magkakaproblema yung mga estudyante because of algebra. Most of the time, no? For example, ito saan ba yung calculus natin dito? Ang calculus lang is yung kinuha niyo yung derivative, no? Pero lahat ng mga manipulations dito from here to here, these are algebra, no? Lahat ng mga ginawa natin, algebra. So, it is very important that you master your algebra before you go to calculus. Ang buti na lang kung madadali yung given, pero kung mga ganito, yung derivative, mahirapan kayo, no? So, no, you have to master radicals, exponents, fractions, no? So, yun yung mga prerequisite knowledge ng calculus. Okay, so, I think, siguro pagkaroon pa tayo ng isang example bago tayo pumunta sa susunod na topic, which is the product rule. Pwede, yung mga binigay ko sa inyo na problems, pwede siya actually sa product rule, no? Saka sa quotient rule, but yun yung mga susunod nating topics. Gusto ko yung invite sa ating YouTube channel, no? youtube.com/user/mph. Subscribe kayo, no? And of course, our Facebook page and our website. Maraming salamat. See you next tutorial.